So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And as you can see in the background, we will discuss again, I quite fucked up my pattern because I do just really want to begin with the last part, the really last part of the Anthony, or actually Tony Robbins program summary about how to create lasting change, because there is just so, like nothing left. So therefore I just wanted to do this right now so that I do not quite, waste. I do not want to say waste, but I do not use a whole episode for this one thing and then do just have to make something else. So it just, doesn't matter. But it's good for all the people who are willing to just, get to the end of this. But we have stopped with, and I do just have to close a little bit here, because I hear him cranking up again his fans, which is not something I totally like for my videos, as you know. But yeah, oh my god. I just see that I have so fucking much files on my fucking desktop. It's enormous. I should definitely just a little bit sort them and do some things, but it's okay. We will start with, we ended with identity, and we will start with leadership. So leadership is a state of caring and report and a set of standards that causes other people to want to have something that you have. The person who is most certain if there is report will influence the other. State and report are two main ingredients. Personal mastery. So this was actually the end of leadership. Personal mastery. Tony Robbins says that a leader's gonna be effective on himself first, and doing so at many levels. This is actually, a thing. If you just, quite advertise yourself or brand yourself on social media that you are a person who is, making you happy and making you successful, just some sort of as I'm doing, and you aren't by yourself, you aren't just, you're not that, like how you actually are. So therefore you would just be bullshitting around, which is something I do think, and I know Gary is emphasizing it as well, but I do also think that, just because you're acting like you've made it doesn't mean that you make it, and it doesn't mean that you will make it faster than just by being yourself and being like, I actually haven't achieved anything yet. I do have nothing achieved yet in terms of my business. I do have some numbers here, but you can just all look them up. Everything but YouTube, because I've just quite turned off to let people see how many subscribers I have, which may I return just right now, because I do kind of feel if there is somebody who just turned off this function to actually see his or her or whatever subscribers, then it just makes them a little bit untrustworthy at my point of view. It just feels like he's hiding something, and therefore I'm not quite like I don't know. It's a little bit strange, even though the reason why I have turned them off is that people will subscribe to me just even more, or just are more likely to subscribe to me, because if you then just see that I have 10 fucking subscribers, people might be like, I'm not gonna subscribe. At least I'm kind of like this, even though it just seems to be or sounds really, really stupid, because actually if somebody has just less subscribers, you may actually on the other side or other hand be actually like, I will definitely subscribe to him because I want to just support him or her because he has less subscribers. But so personal mastery. Tony Robbins says that, I've read that. So change state in the moment. Change state in the moment on yourself. You gotta be able to change your state in a moment. Change state in challenging situations. And take a situation where you normally don't manage your state and link to a situation which puts you in a great state. The trigger for a negative frame becomes a trigger for a positive frame, or positive one. Pick those situations that scare you the most and turn them around. When the tigers show up, you use it and you show up. Sounds great, even though I do not actually get it, how he means it, like you should have a negative state and a positive state, or a negative happening or situation or scenario, whatever you want to call it, and you have a positive one. And I do not really get it how I could make it, but I will definitely, find it out, how you actually can make it that you just really some kind of exchange the negative, I would say even pattern or negative thought about a situation, replace it with a positive from another situation. So I don't know yet, but I will definitely find it out. The third one is live permanently or live permanently in a great state. Create a model of the world where you have no tigers. Most of your time is at peak state and fulfilled. Your whole way of looking at life. And I just really find it so awesome that he points out most of the time. And he actually is quite asked so fucking often in his interviews, yeah, are you actually that happy all the time? Is it like, yeah, you're just so like Superman and you are really happy all the time? And he then says, like, no, I'm not happy all the time. There is just ups and downs, but he's able, or yeah, he's just able to manage his states. And if he do get some kind of angry or negative or whatever, he takes himself exactly 90 seconds, as I remember correctly, 90 seconds in which he just calms down. And after this 90 seconds, in which he is telling himself, yeah, just complaining and being angry and all these things doesn't make anything better, which is just the truth. After these 90 seconds, he really is just, in his normal state again, in his positive state, in his, really at peak state. And that's great. Individual mastery, the first one is take someone and change the state in a moment. The second one is take someone facing tigers and use those tigers to make them stronger. The third one is change the model of the world. So, the social mastery would then be when you can do it to groups. Yeah, makes sense. So the social mastery is actually the individual mastery, just only applied to groups, which may be definitely very, very difficult because, we are all individuals, as I'm always emphasizing. And I do really want to emphasize it even more because it is important, yeah. But I think it's just very, very difficult because, yeah, we are all individuals, as I said, and so we all have just our fears and our just, life views or world views and all these things. And therefore, it might be very, very, very complicated to just, change them all. Just, I don't know if it does it with one take or if it does everyone individually, but this would then be individual mastery. So I don't know, maybe it's just also in terms of speeches. But yeah, let's move on to the cons of this program. Scatterbrained. Tony Robbins often jumps from one thread to another, going back and forth without always sticking to the topic and to the relative chapter. I find it sometimes confusing. Unprecise nomenclature. I don't know how I should pronounce it actually. Nomenclature or whatever. Tony seems to use different name for the same things, and he keeps changing it and mixing it, making it very difficult to summarize and, most of all, to understand what he is actually talking about. And you will think it makes a lot of sense, but what step was he referring to? Yeah, I quite feel it. I think it's also because this is just a very, very difficult topic itself. So, and just describing it and making a theoretically work out of it is very difficult in general, and just for something like this is even more difficult because at my point of view and as I'm thinking about it, it's just more practical than it is theoretically or theoretical. Yeah, of course, you just need the knowledge and you need, the experience maybe even, but especially the knowledge of, how you can change the people, how you do this and how you do that and whatever. But the thing is, if you're doing something practically, there are always some other just obstacles that will arrive or will appear, and you just act in moments and just in seconds, and you do have to decide what you're doing in moments and seconds. But yeah, so Creating Lasting Change is another amazing program by Tony Robbins, packed with amazing useful information on how to change people's state and behavior. Just a personal note, Don't try to change anyone who doesn't want to change, or anyone, sorry. Not only it will hardly be effective, but you will only alienate people that way. Again, this is only a quick summary, and the full program is packed with examples that will give you a better idea. Here's where you can get it. It's Anthony Robbins Creating Lasting Change. If you really want to just look it up. Further readings would be, if you want to improve your influence or influential skills or influence skills, check out my full list of summaries and my in-depth social mastery guide. Sorry. So actually, the powermoves.com website has, or the guy, I think it's actually a guy who is making all these summaries and reading all these great books. He actually is making his own ebooks, as I remember correctly, or his own guides. I do not know if they are for free. Maybe we could even look this up. But I think you do have to pay for them. Articles, free reports, power videos. And he or she, yeah, it's definitely a he, I think. He actually makes YouTube videos as well. So it's social power, and yeah, it's also the Power Moves channel, or should be the Power Moves channel. So yeah, if you are willing to get some information there, if it's just a person who needs it just some kind of visually and not like, you know, auditive, or just, you know, reading is something like you do not like to do, then I will definitely suggest you to go to YouTube in general if you do really are able to learn through this medium. But we will actually go ahead with the body language book. I do hope we will just finish it, maybe this episode even, or the next episode, which will come today as well. So as you know, on the weekends there are always 2 episodes a day, which is just working out pretty fine. I think we just stopped with the legs. Oh, I wanted to start with the legs. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, but I think so. Yeah, I think so. So how the legs reveal the mind. And really, the legs are just really important, because they actually, yeah, reveal the mind quite a lot, because this is the part of the body that's I think they actually say it in the first paragraph there, that's the farthest away from your brain. And so therefore, and I think, I don't know if it's that right, or the assumption is that I don't know correctly, or it makes even sense, but I do quite feel like, yeah, because your toes and your feet are just, you know, so far away from your brain and your head, and, you know, all these important organs that are just some kind of, you know, just moving everything and so on, you know what I mean, that you actually aren't that able to use your toes that much, even though, as I'm just thinking about it and talking about it, I actually think that, you know, the really ancient ancestors of yours, so really the really early fucking humans, really had the chance, or the opportunity, or the skill actually, or the ability, yeah, ability sounds great, to move their toes and feet way differently than we are doing right now. I think we just kind of adapted to where we are right now, and we just need them to walk, but I actually think that, yeah, you know, the really early humans were way better at climbing trees and, you know, some sort like this. But let's move on with walking styles. But I do want to read the first paragraph as well. So the definitive book of body language says that the farther away a body part is from our mind, the less awareness we have of it. That's why legs and feet are some of the most honest body parts. Walking styles. Young and healthy people walk faster, resulting in arms swinging the most. I do think maybe we have gone through this actually. Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Because the funny thing was, I just remembered now, I do have read the bullet points, but after this I said like, yeah, this just, looks something different than the rest that's coming under it, so we'll just end this episode right now. I do not know if you just can some sort of understand this, but we will actually go on with from closed to open. When meeting someone we don't know, often we start with crossed arms and legs first, and that makes total sense. Because if you're just meeting a stranger, or you're just maybe trying to connect with them, or you're just meeting them. Let's stay with meeting. You're just meeting them, and you don't know them, and you therefore do not know if they are dangerous or not, if they are predators or not, and therefore it just makes sense to be like in a state, or in a very defensive and negative state, which is when you just, have crossed your arms or you have crossed your legs and so on, because you do not want to be vulnerable to just someone you have just met. This makes sense because, as I've been telling you just 500 times, I think you're crossing your arms because you're protecting your organs and you're protecting, very sensible body parts of yours. So therefore, if you're just meeting someone you do not know, it makes sense that you're just crossing your arms because you do not want to get hurt. But first the legs uncross, next are the arms. We can start with one arm only and flashing the palm, then both arms uncross. Finally, one person takes the foot forward position to show acceptance of the other. And therefore, and this is actually a great thing, they just show you how we do this and how it's some kind of negatively done, or how we're just doing it. And if you just do the reverse and just get into this position of your foot being forward to the person you're looking at or just talking to, because the foot forward position is just or the forward foot is just really pointing to the person you are or you find the most attractive or you like the most, and so on. So just positive feelings. And therefore it is actually a good thing to really start with your foots forward, just to show there is acceptance, and to just kind of loosen the tension between the stranger and yourself. American figure 4. Sitting with one leg horizontally on top of the other is the seated version of a crotch display. The authors say it's it is American or of any Americanized culture, but I find it just a very common and natural way of sitting. Men sitting this way are perceived as more dominant, relaxed, and even youthful. Women using this position usually only do it around other women, as they don't want to appear too masculine or signal too strong sexual availability. It's not conducive to final decision making, though, as studies show, most final decisions are done with both feet planted on the ground, which is just really interesting. Figure 4 leg clamp. The same as the figure 4, with the leg on top being held by the hands. It's a sign of tough-mindedness and stubbornness, rejecting any idea. And this is actually something that I have seen just pretty lately, and then I thought like, I actually do not remember if this is actually, or if this was actually in this summary, and I do want to know what this means. And I think this is this one. Can I show you? It's just if you sit there and you hold your knee, I just, basically do explain it like Dave explained it, but you do just use both your hands to keep your knee tight to your body or tight to your other foot to just some kind of, support your foot or your leg actually. So therefore it was, and now it's just amazing for me that I know, okay, these are just stubborn or tough-minded, or they will reject my idea. So therefore, actually as well, giving them something to hold would be an actual good idea. Because if you give them something to hold, they just have to loosen up and they have to change in another position. And therefore they will just lose their negativity and stubbornness, and they will maybe not rejecting your idea. The ankle lock. Barbara and LP say that locking ankles is the equivalent of biting one's lips and holding back. It can also show uncertainty and fear. If the feet are pushed far back beneath the chair, it is also highlighted it also highlights a withdrawn attitude as people who are very into the conversation put their feet in the conversation. So it also highlights a withdrawn attitude because people who are very into the conversation put their feet in the conversation. So there will just be the feet, not, on the back of your seat. And I do have to show you a picture of it because the first time I was reading through this, I was like, what the fuck is an ankle lock, man? I don't know this kind of stuff. So the ankle lock. And then as I was, the funny thing is, if you just type in ankle lock, the first thing that will come is just MMA. But if I find it, yeah, this is actually it. This is the ankle lock, and I think if you do have the ankle lock behind the chair, which means that you are actually, yeah, definitely, if there is a possibility of having the ankle lock behind the chair, but yeah, so the ankle lock is just basically, yeah, being or surrounding one ankle. In terms of me, it's now the left one with the other foot itself, so the upside of the foot. I hope you understand what I mean. But yeah, when an interviewee locks his ankles, he is mentally biting his lip. The gesture shows that he is holding back a negative emotion, uncertainty, or fear. The feet are usually withdrawn under the chair, showing that the person also has a withdrawn attitude. When people are involved in a conversation, they also put their feet into the conversation. During negotiations, it means the party is holding back on a concession. If the ankle lock happens during an interview, questions can be reasonably affecting in getting the interviewee to relax and unlock, but going around the table and sitting beside them is probably most effective. Yeah, because I think then you just feel like, yeah, he can see my fucking locked ankles, and therefore I won't do it. But this is, more subconsciously than consciously. I had to laugh when Barbara and LNP said that 88% of dental patients lock their ankle as soon as they sit on a dentist's chair, as I had to think back about my teenager days, and indeed, I was doing the same as far as I can remember. And therefore, this is actually also a pretty great thing if you just know these informations. They would be like, yeah, I now understand why I was sitting like this in this situation or that situation, or back then, as the author of this article was just explaining. And therefore, and this is actually something, I think this is one of the most powerful knowledge that I've gathered over this period. I do have to drink something. Actually, no, never mind. This is actually one of the best informations I've... Maybe I should, but it will take some time, therefore... No, I won't. So this, yeah, quite is good for myself, and this may be even the most valuable things that I've learned over these periods of times, or this period of time where I've been just discussing all these articles or summaries. And therefore I'm just pretty grateful for just, having found this book or the summary and the website in general. But yeah, the leg twine, almost exclusively used by women, and it's a sign of shyness and timidity. The leg twine. I do not know what a leg fucking twine is. And yeah, okay, I'm always not quite sure if I'm actually able to show these pictures, but yeah, it should be okay. So this is the one that I wanted to point out just before, which is just stubbornness and rejectingness and whatever. But this is the one. I think this is meant by the leg twin. The leg twin, or twine, actually twine. The parallel legs. Parallel legs is the most attractive seating position for women, since it would be difficult for men to sit this way. It's a sign of femininity. So parallel legs is the most attractive seating position for a woman. Okay, it just sounds for me like, yeah, this is very, very attractive for women or towards women. So if you're a man, you should definitely do that. If you're into women, just, yeah. But, yeah, I think I got it wrong. So parallel legs